You know what fascinates me about defining moments? Sometimes they come down to a single question that changes everything. And there's this incredible scene in ancient history where Jesus asks what seems like a simple question, but the answer would literally reshape the world.
That's such an interesting way to look at it. What made this particular moment so pivotal?
Well, picture this dramatic setting. You've got these massive pagan temples surrounding you, snow capped Mount Hermon looming overhead, and Jesus deliberately chooses this spot to ask his followers the ultimate identity question.
Hmm. And the timing seems really intentional, too. He just finished dealing with religious leaders who kept demanding more and more proof, right?
Exactly. And what's fascinating is how these supposed experts couldn't see what was right in front of them, while this group of ordinary fishermen was about to have this incredible breakthrough in understanding.
You know what strikes me about that contrast? It really shows how intellectual knowledge doesn't automatically lead to true understanding.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting. Jesus starts with this seemingly casual question about public opinion, but then, boom, he makes it personal. Who do you say I am? And in that moment, you can almost feel the weight of the silence.
Well, that must have been intense. I mean, everything they'd seen and experienced was leading up to this moment of truth.
And then Peter, oh man, Peter, he just comes out with this absolutely stunning declaration. You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Like, he doesn't just give some safe diplomatic answer, he goes all in.
Though what happens next is pretty wild. Peter goes from hero to zero in record time, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, talk about whiplash. One minute, Jesus is basically saying, God himself revealed this to you. And the next, he's saying, Get behind me, Satan. All because Peter couldn't accept that the Messiah's path would lead through suffering.
So, what you're saying is that even when we get the big picture right, we can still completely miss the details of how God's plan unfolds?
Exactly. And here's what's really mind blowing. Jesus takes this moment to introduce this metaphor about building his church on this revelation, saying it would be so powerful that even death itself couldn't stop it. And 2,000 years later, well, here we are.
That's such a powerful point about how understanding who Jesus is becomes this foundation for everything else.
And you know what's really interesting? Jesus immediately follows this up by talking about the cross, both his and ours. It's like he's saying, now that you know who I am, let me show you what that means for your life.
Well, that must have been quite the shock to their system, going from this triumphant revelation to talking about suffering and sacrifice.
But see, that's where this whole thing gets really profound. Jesus introduces this completely counterintuitive idea. Whoever tries to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for his sake will find it. He's basically turning their whole understanding of success and fulfillment upside down.
You know, it's remarkable how relevant this still is today. People still want Jesus on their own terms, don't they?
Absolutely right, and that's really the heart of it. This wasn't just a one time conversation on a hillside in Caesarea Philippi. It's the essential question everyone still has to answer. Who do you say Jesus is? And more importantly, what are you going to do with that answer?
Well, that really brings it home. It's not just about getting the right answer intellectually, it's about letting that answer transform everything about how we live.
And that's where we see the real power of defining moments like this. They force us to move beyond just intellectual agreement to personal commitment. The question isn't just about who Jesus is, it's about who we're going to become in response to that truth.